All right, you guys, we are going to talk about anxiety and depression today. These are probably the biggest buzzwords in mental health right now. So much of our society is struggling with anxiety and depression, seemingly more so today than any other generation in the past. So I just want to touch on this because I've feel like I've been able to shed a lot of light on this since getting sober in 2019. Dropped all drugs, alcohol, all of that, and rebuilt my life. And I want to share through all that study, what I've learned about anxiety and depression. And there's a couple of root causes. And let me first explain what the issue is. First of all, anxiety can be referred to as worrying about the future. You're worrying about something that hasn't happened yet, when in reality, all you have is the present moment. You have to understand, all you have is now. I think I heard a quote, it was Jim Carrey, said, every moment now is pregnant with the next. So if you're sitting there worried about the future, you're just going to create more of that. So that's anxiety in a nutshell. And then depression is a little bit more worrying about the past, just thinking about the past. You're feeling, guilt and shame about what occurred in the past. But the past, again, all you have is the present moment. It's all you have. All you have is now. What are you doing now? So I would say that kind of explains anxiety and depression. But then there's another factor too, is there's a couple of root factors, which I believe the main one is low self-worth, or low self-esteem, self-doubt, all of the above. I think that is, I would say that's the root of depression. And if I've learned anything over the past 5 years, it's that you have to change your habits. You have to outwork your self-doubt. You have to start stacking proof to yourself, undeniable proof that you are worth it. So many of us just walk around thinking we're not worthy of certain things. And to prove it, I would tell you, if you could audit your self-talk for one day, I swear to God, if you could audit your self-talk, really think about it, the way that you talk to yourself, so many of us would be stunned. It would be like, wow, we are not our number one supporter. And so that's what I mean by low self-worth, and then eventually leading to depression, in which, people go get treatments for. They get drugs. Let me put you on these antidepressants. Let me use this drug here to take care of my anxiety that I experience. Let me do this. But you've got to understand, we all have what's called a conscience, okay? And it's our job to listen to that voice within. The conscience can be referred to as the authentic voice of God, the authentic voice of creation. We all have that deep within if you would just listen. But so many of us we don't listen to it. It's just, we're not even adhering to our conscience. We're not listening. We're not. And when you're not doing that, you're constantly being guided. And if you're not listening and you're just making poor decision after poor decision and rash decisions, you lack conscience congruency, and that's what creates these indifferent feelings that you're struggling with. So now with all that said, you're gonna need a plan of action to do something different, right? You've had all these bad habits that have got you this anxiety and depression. You have to create good habits. So here's what you got to do. You got to remove the bad habits. You have to make room for new good habits. You have to make room for the shit that you actually want in life. And that's scary. It sounds easy, but it's not, because you're removing what provides you comfort, and there's going to be a temporary void until you fill it with the good habits that are going to get you what you want. So you actually have to make room. When you successfully do that, and you do it over a period of time, you guys, this is how you change your life. Over time, with the good habits, this is how you're going to start stacking that proof to yourself that you are worthy. And I can tell you from years and years of me personally just not thinking I'm worth it, whatever that might be. I had self-sabotage like built in because of the low self-worth. I just wrote myself off right away. And I know so many of you do that as well. And I'm telling you, if you do everything I'm talking about, you can totally turn your life around. You can change everything. Where today, for example, through all the self-work that I've done, there's no question anymore. I know I'm worth it. I've put in the work. I know I'm worth it. It's a whole different conversation that's occurring in my head. And I just want you guys to know that, if you're willing, step one, you're going to have to be willing. You can create a whole new set of habits, which in turn, in the future, it will take some time. But over a period of time, a couple of years, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, it doesn't even have, it could be 6 months of changing your habits. You can create a whole different you. People will look at you differently, but more importantly, you will look at you differently. You will finally be able to get up, look in the mirror, and admire the person looking back at you. That's what we're all after.